Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm currently on day 11 of my isolation. It's going great, not going stir crazy at all. But pretty much since the beginning of the year, I've been planning on doing this video. I've really been wanting to binge read the Wayward children's series. If you are unfamiliar, this is my favorite book series. It is just incredible to me. So I thought now is like the perfect opportunity to just like read my favorite things and be happy. This is the most recent book that came out. This is book 5, and I haven't read this one yet, so I'm very excited. So just like a little rundown of this series in case for some reason you don't know what it's about. This is the first book in the series, Every Heart a Doorway. In this world, there are magical doorways that transport people into like magical lands. And it's about all of these children who went into those doorways and had this like magical adventure, and then they came back to the real world and they had a hard time readjusting into normal society. So they all end up going to this boarding school for wayward children. That's what this whole series is about. And what's cool about this series is that every other book takes place in one of the magical worlds. So there's kind of two different storylines that are happening. There is the present day storyline about the children who have come back and are at the boarding school. And then there are the storylines where we're actually following those children in their magical worlds, if that makes sense. But the books alternate, so every other book is a prequel book. Get what I'm saying? And this is one of those book series where I'm like, this could literally go on forever, and I would be so excited by that. And it's really strange because I'm not the type of person who even really likes long book series. I feel like most things should be a standalone, but the way that this is set up, it could literally go on forever. This could be 100 books, and I would be so here for that because there's so many different portal worlds to explore. I'm going to attempt to read these in 24 hours. Will I actually be able to do that? I don't know. I have not been able to successfully do a 24-hour readathon or reading vlog in a long time. I feel like I'm just too old for it, okay? My sleep schedule cannot handle it. So I'm gonna read as many of these as I can today, and then I'll see where I'm at, and we'll see if I need to continue this tomorrow. It's already noon right now, so like the odds of me reading all of these before I want to go to sleep tonight, slim. Also, I just don't know how interesting this video is gonna be because unlike a lot of my other vlogs, I can't go anywhere. So we're just gonna be homebound living. I might try to make some cookies later if I have the ingredients to make cookies. I don't know if I do because I made brownies the other day and I might have used up a lot of the ingredients. But we'll see. I'm just hoping today's a chill day. Today's actually the first day where the weather is nice outside. You can see out the window. It's like a perfect day. It's been really rainy and cloudy like the whole past week, and it's been putting me in like such a weird mood. Okay, I think I've been debating what order I want to read these in because I've reread these 3 books, the first 3, many, many times. I think I've read the first book like 11 or 12 times. I could read both of the prequel books first. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna do it in publication order. Or do I want to do, I don't know, you guys. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna do it in publication order because I really just want to start with Every Heart Doorway. I'm excited to figure out which one is my favorite because I feel like every time I mention which book is my favorite in the series, it's different than the time I mentioned it before. So I'm gonna go find somewhere cozy to sit and read. Okay, so I just finished Every Heart a Doorway, and I have many thoughts. So firstly, this book, the beginning, we're really being introduced to the world and the idea of doors. We're introduced to Eleanor, who runs this boarding school, And this book is following Nancy, who recently returned from a world called the Hall of the Dead. Her parents have now sent her to this boarding school, and we meet a bunch of the other characters who we're gonna be following in other books. While Nancy is at the boarding school, there are all these murders that are happening. Other students are being found dead in very brutal ways, and like parts of their body have gone missing. So this book is really like a murder mystery trying to solve who's committing these murders and why. So yeah, I really love this book. I feel like in terms of like the whole series overall, this one isn't my favorite, but it is the one that I hold the most love for, if that makes sense. Because of the timing that I read this book, right before I came out, I read a ton of queer books. And this was one of those books that I read like a couple days before I came out. And there's a lot of queer characters in this book. Nancy is asexual. There is a trans boy side character. And even just aside from the actual queer representation, the idea of this world and this story is very queer in nature. It's really about children who don't fit in this world find this other world where they just feel so at home, they feel accepted. And I've always kind of related that to the LGBT community. For me, the queer community feels like a magical world. Oh my God, is that so sappy? You guys, I need to stop. I'm being totally cheesy. But anyways, yeah. This book holds a special place in my heart because of the timing that I read it, but also a couple observations while reading it. This was the first time I'd read this book since reading the fourth book. And there's something that happens in this book that just hits a little bit different now. Every time I've read this book, there's a certain thing that happens that like I've had a certain reaction to. I'm trying to be vague. If you've read it, you probably know what I'm talking about. The fourth book is a prequel that follows a character named Lundy. And so there's something in this book that happens to Lundy. It just hit a little different. So yeah, it is now 2:30 and I'm just gonna keep on reading. I'm gonna now start Down Among Sticks and Bones, which is a prequel book that follows Jack and Jill, who are twin sisters, and they traveled to a world called the Moors, which I've always kind of described it as like a Frankenstein meets Dracula kind of world. It's very dark and gothic. There are two like big players in this world. One of them is a vampire lord and the other one is like a mad scientist. So there's definitely a lot of themes that are reminiscent of Dracula and Frankenstein. This one also has a female-female relationship, so really excited to get into that one. I am gonna go check on my dogs first though, because it's been very quiet the whole time I was reading this book, which they're either doing something cute, like snuggling, or they're doing something bad. Let's go find out. What are you guys doing, huh? Are y'all up to no good? You silly boys. What? Why are you just sitting like that? I feel like they were in the middle of doing something bad, and they just like stopped in their tracks as soon as I came out here. Oh, you guys. Right before Jack and Jill are about to go into their doorway, and I really love the message of this book because basically Jack and Jill are twin sisters, but their parents have very specific ideas of how they want each twin to be. One of the parents wanted a son and the other one wanted a daughter, but they got twin daughters, so they kind of like split them up almost, where they make one of them be very tomboyish and be into sports and like be into playing outside, and then the mom really wants like a pretty princess daughter to dress up in lace. Those roles that they force the twins into don't fit how they actually want to be, which is why they end up going to this other world, because the other world allows them to express themselves and be the people that they want to be. So yeah, I really like the message of this book in particular. But side note, I wanted to share with you guys because I'm drinking one of my favorite beverages. It's not something I drink often because it's like a dessert drink almost, but it is the closest thing I've been able to find that tastes like the butterbeer at the Wizarding World theme park. And I'm also using my novelty butterbeer cup that I got from there. But basically it's this vanilla caramel cream soda, and the only place that I've been able to find that sells it is Ace Hardware Store, which is like the most random place. It is absurdly sweet. So like I said, it's not something that I drink often, but it's so good. And it makes me feel like I'm at the Wizarding World theme park, which is a fun feeling to have while I'm reading this series, because this series is very magical and transportive. Down Among Sticks and Bones. It's now exactly 5 o'clock, and I think that this book might have solidified Jack as my favorite character. Oh, I just love her so much. And like the things that she does and the things that she sacrifices for her sister, I just feel a lot of emotions. I also think this might be, I feel weird saying that this is my favorite world because it's super dark, but I feel like it's the world that I would be the most comfortable in. I don't actually know that I would want to go to this world just because I feel like I would die there, but I know for a fact I would not want to go to like any of the super like cheery worlds, you know, like any of the rainbow or candy worlds. Those wouldn't be for me. I would definitely be in a dark world. Another one done. Now moving on to book 3, Beneath the Sugar Sky. So this one, we're going back to the present day timeline. This takes place a couple months after the events of Every Heart a Doorway, and we're following a new character. Initial thoughts on this book are, I think that out of all of them, this is my least favorite. It's still 5 stars. I gave all of these books 5 stars, so it's still a great book, but I think out of all of them, it's my least favorite. So we'll see if that changes on this read. So since I'm reading Beneath the Sugar Sky, which is about a confection world with candy and sugar, I thought now is the perfect time to make cookies. So I looked through the ingredients that I had. I was gonna make chocolate chip cookies, but I'm out of chocolate chips. So instead, I'm gonna make snickerdoodle. Making good time. It's now 7 o'clock and I just finished the 3rd book, Beneath the Sugar Sky. I actually think I liked this a little bit more this time than the previous times that I've read it. I think I enjoyed the main character more this time. So I totally forgot that the main character of this one is a girl named Cora, who is a new character. There's a couple new characters that are introduced in this, Cora being one of them, Rennie is another. Cora is fat, and a lot of her issues stem from being bullied for her weight. So I really enjoyed the conversations around body image in this. And in this book, we actually travel to a couple different portal worlds, which was really fun. So like we go to Nancy's world, which is the Hall of the Dead, which was really cool. Her world seems like one of those that I would like to visit once but not stay in. But the majority of this book takes place in the world of confection, which is basically like a fucked up version of Candyland. And so this one mostly surrounds this quest that a group of the students are going on. And there's so many more worlds that we hear about in this book that I really want to explore. I still want to see Christopher's world with his skeleton girl. I want to see Cora's like mermaid world. There's so many different worlds that we find out about. So now on to book 4, In an Absent Dream. This is another prequel book that follows Lundy. This is the only one that I've read just once. I'm excited to see how I feel about it now. The first time that I read it, I said it was my new favorite in the series. So we'll see if that's still the case. I just really, really love Lundy as a character. I think my 3 top favorite characters are Jack, Cade, and Lundy. So We'll see. I think I'm going to take a bath because I did a really hard workout earlier and all my muscles are so sore. Oh, okay. I just finished In an Absent Dream and I cried a little at the end. I don't know why the ending of this book just hit me. I just got emotional. Lundy's character makes me emotional. So basically this book takes place in this world called the Goblin Market, where there's a very strict set of rules where everything in the market has to have fair value. Anything you do, there has to be an exchange of fair value. And that's how everything is set in the world. We know the outcome of this book going into it because we learn what happened to her in Every Heart a Doorway, and that when she turned 18 she was supposed to decide if she wanted to stay in the Goblin Market permanently as a resident or stay at her home with her family, and she was having a hard time deciding. So she came up with this deal to stop herself from aging. But when she took the anti-aging potion, that broke the rules of fair value. So her world kicked her out, and so she has been aging in reverse. She's been Benjamin Buttoning, and that's how we meet her in the first book. We meet her as this little girl who's actually like 60 years old. So we already know that's gonna happen, but just like actually reading about it happening made me feel a lot of things. There's also a line in here, fuck, let me find it. It's literally my favorite line that Seanan Mcguire has ever written. Hold on, I have it written down somewhere. This is my favorite Seanan Mcguire quote. So it says, "No one serves their friends by grinding themselves into dust on the altar of compassion." Her writing is just so good. Like, as I've been reading these, the amount of quotes I've been writing down and saving, she's so, like, her writing is so quotable and amazing. So it's now 9 o'clock. I think I'm gonna wait and read Come Tumbling Down in the morning because it's gonna be my first time reading it and I wanna be fully present and in the moment and able to take everything in, and I'm feeling very tired right now. So I'm gonna go get some sleep and we'll come back in the morning and read the last book. Good morning. So it is now the next day. It is like 9 a.m. So I'm gonna get started reading Come Tumbling Down. Hopefully I can finish reading this before noon, so then it will actually be a full 24 hours since starting this video. This one is a continuation of Jack's story, who I have now decided is my favorite character. So I'm really excited to read this. Okay, so I finished the last book. Initial thoughts, I think this is my favorite, although I do say that after every new one that I read. But yeah, this one had all of the elements that I loved from the second book because we go back into the world of the Moors, which is probably my favorite world that we've explored. It is very dark, and we finally get to the conclusion of Jack and Jill's story arc that has spanned across 3 different books. So it was really exciting and satisfying to finally see like the ending of their story. I don't know if it's the actual ending of their story. We might see more, but the arc that has started in book 1 for them is now complete. And I just loved it. I'm still sure that Jack is my favorite character. I love her so much, and seeing her growth in this book was great. So I finished all of the books. I did it right on time. It is 11:30, so I had 30 minutes to spare. I did it in 24 hours. I think in total I read over 1,000 pages, which is insane. Looking at the whole series, or the 5 books that are out so far, I think that my favorites are definitely a 3-way tie between these. I just love these both so much because they take place in the moors, which is such an interesting world. And then this one, I just feel so much for Lundy's character, but I still love the other two so much for their own reasons. And I cannot wait for the next book in the series. It's going to be following a brand new character in a brand new world that I don't think we've heard of before. I just had so much fun. This was definitely what I needed with everything going on right now. Definitely, if you've read the series, let me know in the comments which book is your favorite. I would love to know what everyone's personal favorite book in the series is. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!